Okay. Then agenda. Are y'all seeing the agenda for today's meeting? Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for our August Indiana Recovery Network meeting. I'm so happy to see y'all here. We have some good presenters lined up for today. Again, I am recording the meeting. This will be available on the website next month under the link for the videos. If you want to review anything that's shared or share the information or the recording with someone who maybe wasn't able to attend today. So our agenda today includes a presentation from the Life Recovery Center, followed by Mercy and then Light. And if time allows, we will open up to everyone to share information about your organization, your programs, so we can see some networking happening in real time. And so with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I will hand it over to Life Recovery Center. Oh, also, if you could please keep yourself muted until it's time for questions and answers. After each presentation, we will open it up to questions or comments that you might have, but just to eliminate background noise such as dogs barking would be great. So, okay, well, I'll turn it over to Jennifer.
All right. Hello. My name is Jennifer. I am a peer support specialist with Life Recovery Center. We're going to have some slides here in just a
When I
second.
figure out how to do that. I'm sharing. Okay. Am I sharing?
Here we go.
There's a lot blocking the screen. I'm sorry. Okay.
I could just go to slide 3 and start.
Okay. Let me find a way to mute myself. There we go.
All right. So like I said, I am a peer support specialist with Life Recovery Center. So I'm the peer recovery coach here. So our main focus, if you can skip to the next one, Nikki. Main focus with Life Recovery Center is to provide freedom and recovery to individuals in the community. We do that through a multiple different ways, different types of therapy, different types of treatment. So we are an outpatient treatment center. We do work under Mental Health America of Indiana. We've been serving Indiana residents since 2010, but we do have the origin all the way back to 1979 for as being a sub-prevention program. We do currently have 2 Indianapolis locations, one here at 1440 North Hudson behind the main MHAI building. And then we also have a northeast side location at 6350 North Shadeland. So some of the things that we do, or some of the certifications that we hold and the specialties that we hold, we are certified by CARF. We're also certified by the state of Indiana, DMHA, for substance use and gambling disorders. We work with the Indiana Coalition Against Domestic Violence. And then we also, through that, we provide the abuse intervention program. And then we also are trained to teach the Prime for Life substance use education classes, or certified to do those classes as well. We can go to the next slide. There we go. So who we serve in the community, we serve individuals, adults, adolescents. We can work with and children from the age of 8 or over. As a peer, we work with age of 16 or over. We also serve couples. We do couple therapies. We do family therapies. They also do family reunifications. So some of our core services are therapy. We do the therapy through group services, group therapy group, support groups, individual therapy, couples therapy, family therapy. We also provide art therapy. We provide peer support, which is also entails skills training, emotional support. Then we also do some education classes out in the community. as well as in-house as well. And then we have advocacy. And then, of course, if we cannot provide what's needed, we also have plenty of resources to refer out to. So with the substance use side, we use evidence-based evidence-based training or care for adolescents and adults. When someone comes in and does an assessment with us, obviously we go through the ASAM levels. So you have IOT, which equals with IOT, it is 3 times a week, 3 hours a week, pretty intense therapy. 1 hour a week with a peer recovery coach with myself, and then or with a therapist during those 3 hours. The next level down is IOP, which is 3 hours a week or 3 days a week, 2 hours each session. IOT would have to be in person. IOP is the one that they can be virtual. I apologize. And then we also have OP, a step down from that, 2 hours, 2 days a week, and then aftercare. So we have the 4 different little steps to kind of step down to. If we do IOT, they're going to pretty much take those steps down until they're done. They end with that aftercare. We also have Prime for Life. We do the 8 hour, the 12 hour, and 20 hours, just depending on what the client is recommended for. It is a weekend long class, a lot of education to help kind of prevent any further incidents of use or DUI, stuff like that. We have morning and evening sessions. We do in-person or telehealth. The big thing is with the in-person, depending on the insurance, Medicaid is a in-person requirement when it comes to the groups. Individuals can be done telehealth, so we can reach more people. We also provide gambling treatment, so we address problem, compulsive, or disordered gambling. That's done through individual therapy and financial counseling, and that's also available in person and on telehealth. And then our mental health treatment side, we provide a comprehensive mental health assessment. So we provide therapy for individuals, couples, families, children, and adolescents. Some of our specialties are EMDR, trauma-focused CBT, and then trauma-informed care. And then we have our community-based services. So we have custom programming for organizations and communities. We can provide therapy at schools, centers, recovery residences. We actually are currently right now are in recovery cafes in Indianapolis and in Fishers for the Hamilton County Recovery Cafe, and then are in the works to begin classes with Hope Center and the Marion County Jail. With our team, we have the licensed therapists that provide that therapy. We have a client advocate, and then we have myself, the peer support. And then we also have clinical director. We work with a psychologist, and then we have the operations and revenue specialist, and then our wonderful receptionist or intake coordinator. So when it comes to payment and funding, we take Medicaid, we take Medicare, Healthy Indiana Plan. We will be taking commercial insurance. We have what's called a VOCA grant. So anyone who qualifies as a crime or qualifies as a victim of crime, they could fall under that for their treatment. And then we also have Accept Recovery Works, gambling funding, and then self-pay. If they don't fall under any of those things, we do have self-pay. We also have a sliding scale for those who qualify to be able to get them. And then these are our main contacts. So Barbara Cook is our intake coordinator. She is the first person that clients will reach. That's her contact information. And you have Nikki. She is our clinical director. Summer is our revenue cycle director. And then Kelly Gardner is our VP of crisis and clinical. I do believe that's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Jennifer and Nikki. Does anyone have any questions for Jennifer about Life Recovery Center services? Go ahead, Jeremy.
So I'm curious as to the differences in the trauma-focused CBT, because I'm learning quite a bit more about how trauma influences stuff, and I'm curious of the differences in between trauma-focused CBT and regular CBT. Which it's probably in the name itself. It's probably a redundant question, but I'm just wondering if there's a different approach to it.
Yeah, I believe there is. And honestly, there is an extended training that our therapists complete. And I haven't had the extended part of it completed myself, so I can't speak too much about it. There are certain steps that you take when someone has experienced trauma. The approach is simply put, softer, and you give a little bit more control to the client as to not re-traumatize. And there are certain skills, additional skills that are taught. And it's also a curriculum that you can use with children. So they have added to the regular kind of CBT concepts and skills. They have added a different layer, so to speak, but I believe that it's also more specific skills and sessions that they include in the curriculum.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. I take it it's similar to EMDR in the aspect of focused on not re-traumatizing the individual.
Oh, yeah. I was talking the other day about EMDR being good because it doesn't require the talk therapy part. So CBT is still talk therapy. We can always incorporate other tools while doing therapy, like art or play, especially with kids. The EMDR is a totally different model that does not depend and focus on the talking part of therapy. There's definitely talking to process certain feelings that come up from the bilateral stimulation that comes with EMDR. But that is mainly the model. If you're not familiar with it, it utilizes movement of the hand or light bar or sounds in the left and right ear, or a buzzer that the client holds onto. So it stimulates the left and the right hemisphere of the brain. And that has been found to be allowing us to unlock, so to speak, the traumatic experience and memories from our primitive brain, that is the fight or flight or freeze response. And it kind of let us move it to the side of our brain that is more logical and allows us to process information. And that is alleviating the symptoms of trauma and our body reactions to trauma. And yeah, so that's really helpful for people that cannot quite identify why they feel a certain way, or they find themselves having, panic attacks, for example, everything that comes with PTSD. I don't want to get too technical, but yeah, nightmares, not sleeping at night, having recollections, all of those symptoms can be alleviated through EMDR. And the overall goal is to move the client from a negative belief that has been generated because of the trauma. It usually kind of bleeds over through our whole lives, and we have a belief system and a perception of the world that is tainted by the trauma we experienced. So the goal with EMDR is to move from that to a more positive way of looking at the world and looking at our lives and ourselves, and give the the client a little bit more of a sense of control over their lives.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Good question. Thank you, Nikki, for walking us through that and kind of explaining the differences. That was really helpful. So I think, yeah, thank you.
Great.
Okay. And so we'll move on to our next presenter, which is Aisha Wesley, Executive Director of Minority Recovery Collective, Inc., or also known as Mercy. So Aisha, if you're ready, go ahead.
You jumped to me. There was a question in the chat from Tessie, and I'm sorry if I butchered your name. She said,
They
I
do
have
have
a type.
openings. Yep. So the openings they do right now. I don't know if Nikki or Jennifer, you want to
Yeah.
just go ahead and respond in
So
the
we
chat.
do, sorry.
That's okay. Just so for the sake of time, if we could, if you could just respond in the chat, and then I think maybe connect them with Barbara so they can learn more about the process for intake. Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to the next presentation, please.
I think it get me back to the beginning here. Me and technology been fighting. But while I get this to go all the way to the back, hi everybody. My name is Aisha Wesley. I'm the Executive Director for Minority Recovery Collective, Inc., but best known as Mercy. Shout out to all the peer coaches, peer specialists that are in the room. You're my favorites. I love you. Um, and I appreciate all the work that you do on a daily basis. There we go. I'm going to try to get through these as quickly as possible so that we can get some time back on our day. Like I said, we're Mercy. We're a collective of individuals, families, businesses. I wanted to come in today for those who have not seen us before, haven't seen us in the community before, so that you can get introduced to us. And then I also have an ask at the end. Like I said, we're the Wellness Collective. Like I said, we're a group of individuals, families, and businesses come together to make sure that our neighbors have access to quality care and peer support services. We definitely believe in letting you know a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. Before we get there, so why does Mercy exist? So for those of you who don't know us and don't know why we're here, a good friend of mine named Natasha Cheatham has a wonderful story. You can actually catch it, the documentary on YouTube now. But talking about her life and what she noticed that the recovery community and our larger community, those two were kind of sequestered, they were separated. And that's caused a lot of issues, especially for those who are part of marginalized, or already strategically marginalized communities of being separated. And so we're trying to find ways in which we can build community, build understanding, and find out ways in which we all can advocate for each other. And so she just wanted to take her trauma, her pain, and turn it into a ministry. And from there, about almost 7 years ago now, we started with the sober socials. It was the first way to just get folks in the room and to create a way in which substances weren't the main focus. There's a video. I'm not going to play it today. And please excuse me if we got a little choppy here. Not going to play it, but like I said, we started with the sober socials. It was a great time to get to know where everybody kind of stands and to also educate those who haven't been in recovery, what it looks like. Also introducing people that didn't know that they were in recovery, like myself. I didn't know what recovery was until it was presented to me. And from there, we have grown exponentially. We've had the joint pleasure of working with so many different entities and businesses to do what we've been trying to do, which is to create an ecosystem where everyone who wants recovery can have it, can go through the process, and get to whatever goal they're looking for. So who are we? Like I said earlier, we are a collective of people, of individuals, families, businesses, and we're here more than to be just programs or to provide services to our community. We're really here to do a uh, mindset shift of understanding for those of you who are of a Christian background, of that we all can be a good Samaritan, that no matter what our backgrounds are or differences are, that we all can work together to try to do something to just change how we're living in Indiana and across our states. So the tribe, the folks who actually work back here, we call them our marvels, because all of the work they do is marvelous, uh, and is marvelous in its sight. They're trained and certified as peer professionals. We focus on youth, young adults, and their families. We're teaching about substance use, mental health challenges. Uh, this is a very old picture of me. I realize this now, but this is an older picture of me. So I've been the executive director for the past 3 years, and this is my chance to tell you guys that my contract is almost over. And so this last year, I'm going to be going out with a bang. I'll still be part of the organization. I'll still do things, but we definitely believe in that this is to be an organization, it's to be a lifelong thing. Um, and so we need younger people who are going to be involved. We need younger sites, younger minds to carry on the torch. So a little bit more about Mercy on this page. You'll see our mission, our vision, our core values, our focuses. Um, every year we change which core value is going to be our theme. Since we're getting into September, that's when we do our theme picking. For 2024, 2025, we focus on resilience. This upcoming year, we're focusing on integrity. And I feel like how apropos our current society for us to be focusing on integrity. And how are we being true? How are we being honest in our harm reduction? How are we being honest in our peer support? How are we showing our integrity in stress relief and wellness? So what do we do? These 4 words are the words that we live by. We educate, we alleviate, we elevate, and we advocate. In whatever our program, it has to have one of these, if not more than one of these words involved. We believe in the African proverb Ubuntu, which translates to I am because we are, and we are because I am. We are a community. And if I'm doing well, but my neighbors aren't doing well, then how am I doing well? That's the basis or where this type of language is coming from, and it permeates through all of our peer mentorship. It permeates through all of our programs and services. Of that, I'm not a bystander. I am receiving the services as much as the next person. I'm to enjoy. I'm to learn something. I'm supposed to be getting something out of it. There's no big I, little you. We'll go past that one because we'll talk about that a little bit more in another one. So in the programs that I was talking about that the Ubuntu permeates through is the antidotes. That's our focus programming. Your pathway, which actually is an acronym for it's unique recovery pathway, because we believe that each pathway is unique, just like every person that's on this call is unique. And then last but certainly not least is the Lot Ministry, which comes out of again, the Christian Bible. I believe it's Matthew 25. Please don't tell Tasha. I think she's on the call. Don't tell Tasha. I don't remember the scripture it comes from off the top of my head. I remember all types of scriptures, but this one gets me every time. But I do remember that it's Jesus talking to the crowd and talking about whatever you do for the least of these. When you go visit people in jail, when you clothe others, when you feed others, when you go check on the sick, you're also doing this for me. And so a lot of our harm reduction efforts are through our lot ministry. So how can one support? We're getting to why I wanted to get into this call today. So just in general, you got to know where we're going or what our vision is. Our vision is we're going to try to make it as plain as possible, is to create a community where those who want to seek recovery can be able to be surrounded by recovery principles, programs, and services 24/7, 25/8, depending on, because I know some of y'all work more hours than what is allotted. But, if whatever you're looking for, that you're able to find it in this one space 24 hours a day. I'm going to use a little language here that I don't use in my everyday life because I don't think it's good, but I think it helps with the analogy here. If I go and take a shower and I get all clean, but then I get into sheets that are dirty, I'm getting back dirty when I just got myself quote unquote clean. So I don't think it's good for us. And I know for some of the folks in my community, because we did a lot of walking, a lot of door knocking over these last 7 years. But there's quite a few individuals within our communities that they feel like when they go to programs and they go to services that I'm rejuvenating my spirit, but then I have to go home back into the same situation that put me into where I have to get this support. And so we really want to create a space where people, whether you need a couple years or you want to stay a lifetime, but that there's a space where people can get recovery services 24/7. And I said people, but I really mean folks. So yes, we're here for and needing space, funding, and people. As we said, we're collective, we're wellness collective. We need as many hands on deck as possible to make sure that that 24/7 is covered, whether or not we're partnering with other organizations or just individuals together. So how are we going to get to this goal that we have? Well, for those who don't know, I studied chemistry in college and school, and I'm big on math and I believe in solutions, and that it takes at least two things to come together. And in this one, it's an X and a Y that's going to bring us to our goal. Math. Let's go to math. All right, so stick with me. So the X is the actions. It'll let me go past this page. There we go. So on this page is the actionable items. A lot of the organizations that are here, you are doing these things, or you're on your way to do these things, or your goal is to make sure these things are happening. One of the things that I'm going to point out is the third bullet point on the left-hand side of the screen. It's the pathways for youth, young adults of minority groups to enter into fields of behavioral health, human services, mental health, peer support, psychology, and social work. This one, all of these have come from our community over the state of Indiana. We went from door to door, but this one is one of my favorites that we've been working on. I've had the pleasure and the joy of these last 2 years of training through CCAR and other platforms, training youth between the ages of like 12 to 24 to be peer support specialists. We've trained the youngest in the country, and they've taken the ideals and have spread them through their high schools, created clubs and different organizations. And now we've set the second set off to college. And many of them are going to college for something that's in one of those fields. And so we're working on this part, we're seeing it, and it's a huge joy of mine. And I'm always going to talk about it. We have to make sure that we're including youth and younger people in this, of not just I'm serving you, but I should also teach you so that you can serve. Because someday I'm not going to be here. Somebody else got to take up this torch. And if we don't refill it, we'll find us in a space that we're in now where we have, was it 300 people per mental health professional? And that's a lot of people to put on one person. So this one I'm really big on. And if you're on this, make sure you hit me up so that we can collaborate. I'm rounding out here that the why is the intent. You can have a whole lot of action, but the intention does matter. If you find yourself that you believe in these intentions over here, being patient, pure hearted, that it's about the work, people oriented and purposeful, then I believe that those two things are going to bring us to a solution together. And the result should be comprehensive care. So my ask is collaboration. I talked about earlier that this year we're focusing on integrity. And with that, I've really looked at where have we gone, where are we now, where are we going in the future. And where we started off was with our sober socials. And so this year we're going to be focusing on being more sociable with organizations in our community to bring services in a creative, out of the box way. Um, Especially with everything that's going on in our society and our administrations and things as such, that the recovery community, we're being hit very hard right now. So this is a time for, I think that the best way for us to combat what's happening and for us to be able to make it through this together is indeed together. And let's have a good time while doing it. I think the best way to sometimes get on somebody's nerve who wants you to be upset and wants you to be downtrodden is to laugh, is to smile, is to be full of joy. And so we're asking those who are here and those who will um, be coming back to look at the notes that are presented is to reach out to us about collaborating for sociable events. We will be providing services in those events, but let's work together to create some sociable events for 2026. One, so that we can educate more of our community that recovery is possible, that it's necessary, that it's here, that it's here to stay, um, and that we can have a good time while also getting support. These are our services. These are a way that we do some of our work. We do believe in that the healers also need healing. So if your organization is looking for somebody else to come in and lead a group for you and your team, we're definitely down for that. If you're looking for somebody to come in and sit and just talk with your teammates so that they're having somebody who also understands what it's like to be a peer, uh, we're also down for that as well. But we all are looking for to do more sociable events over the year 2026. We're definitely focusing on youth and creating more pathways for youth to come into this line. So if you have youth who want to be trained, we do have a curriculum that is just set aside for them, and that are of their age will also be a part of it. So it's not just adults talking to youth, which I think takes the peer to peer to a whole nother level. And last but not least, here's our ways of contacting us. You can catch us in office inside of BU Wellness. We love them over there. We love collaborating with them. Uh, these are our emails. Connect with us. Also, we have a YouTube page where we have our group sessions. We create a group session just for YouTube for those who want to catch it on the fly. Uh, in this, we've had the joy of spreading and helping to build more recovery communities outside of Indiana, like in New Orleans and Southburg, Carolina, and now we're moving into Nashville. And so we all are just looking to connect more, to build up the network of recovery more, and to really show that this is something that we're not going to let go of. I really appreciate you guys for all being here. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. And again, thank you so much for all that everybody in this call does for our community. It's so needed, it's so necessary, and we could not do this without you. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you, Isha. Great presentation. Y'all are doing wonderful work. Does anyone have any questions? Or feel free to leave comments in the chat. Oh, go ahead, Devin.
So my question was about the youth being trained to be peers. So is that something that your organization just does, or is that something that is recognized as a credential in separate other states or in different communities, or you know what I mean? What does that look like?
Thanks for asking that question. Thank you for those who put in the chat. But so our organization, we did use the C-Card youth peer coach training. In that they were more used to an older crowd than the one that we had. In there, we also created our own curriculum, and there's other parts that we put in there so that it would be comprehensive. If that answers your question.
Partially, is it recognized like by any states at this time, or what does that look like?
So the C card training, that part that's recognized throughout the states. Our training, that our particular curriculum, that one we still are working to get it recognized by the state of Indiana. But the main piece of it, that is recognized.
I was asking that because, a lot of times when it comes to getting individuals trained, you need funding. So if the credential doesn't meet certain standards, so I was just trying to get clarification on that, but thank you for answering. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I know that our state has been working on a youth lens. I do need to follow up on how that one works exactly. I haven't looked all the way through, but I do know that they have worked through one that is for you. Uh, I think uh, on one part, I think we're still in a space where it's going to take us time before most of the states recognize youth, like people under 25, uh, as a peer professional because of some of the red tape and the different things that we do have to work through. I will say that with the one that we created, it really is for them to be able to talk to their peers, uh, and not so much use it as not so much into like case management, but on the sense of, can you recognize what's happening? Can you talk with somebody? Do you know how to do the question, persuade, response? Do you know how to navigate through resources? Um, yeah, so that's what I'm gonna say with ours. And how to
Thank you.
recognize feelings within themselves, like how to recognize boundaries and uh, emotional intelligence for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Devin. All right. Any other questions, or you can feel free to drop comments, questions in the chat. And then also, I think it was shared in the chat, a slide that has everyone's contact information for all the presenters, so you can follow up with them directly after this meeting if you have any more questions or want to learn more about the work they're doing. Before we move on to our last presenter, I do want to give a shout out for our amazing team member, Rebecca Gorell. Rebecca Gorell has been a part of MHI for 8 years. She started out as our CEO's assistant for 3 years and then came on over to where the fun kids are and became a part of the IRN. No offense to LRC or anything. And so she's been a part of our team for the past 5 years, and we've loved having her. She's done a lot of things, and many of you have worked with Rebecca on different things, projects, and all the things that we've collaborated on over the years. I want to acknowledge Rebecca because Monday will be her last day with us. Rebecca is moving on to be a recovery coach at the Hope Academy, and we know she's going to go do wonderful things for the kiddos there at the high school and just add to their recovery journeys and be a great part of their support network. So show Rebecca some love. Again, she'll be around until Monday, and then after that, I'm sure we'll still see her. And she'll probably hopefully come to our rally at the end of next month. But just wanted to acknowledge Rebecca and give her a huge thanks, and just know that you will be greatly missed and missed from these monthly meetings. She's been coordinating these meetings for us for, gosh, 5 years now, I guess. So thank you so much, Rebecca. All right, enough of the feelings. So we'll hand it over to our last presenter, Rochelle Taylor with Light.
I'm not good at the sharing screen thing, so I apologize in advance.
You're good. We can see it.
Okay, good. Okay, so I'm the supervisor here at Light. I'm gonna do, well, if my thing will work, I apologize. Okay, so we are an RCO, a regional recovery hub. We have a recovery cafe. We also have a men's transitional and a women's recovery home. We have two offices, one here in Milford next to our women's recovery home, and then we have one in Warsaw. That is our county seat. So for the RCO, what I love about what we do is we meet people where they are, no matter what that looks like. At their worst, at their best, we show up for them, walk alongside them, and help them learn how to be self-sufficient and person-driven. And so that is one of the most important things that I love about our job is we don't have any barriers for people to receive services. We serve 9 counties under our regional recovery hub, from St. Joe all the way to Miami and Wabash. We collaborate with other organizations, how we can better help them to serve their communities in those counties. Through the Recovery Cafe, we are a member of the national network, which started in Seattle, Washington. That is a little different. It runs on a model. We are open 3 days a week. We serve a meal during that time. We have recovery classes. We have circles, which is kind of similar to a small group meeting, except we go over 3 things with them: what went well, what was a struggle, and what's your goal for next week. And then we have 5 beds at the Lighthouse and 4 at our men's transitional, which is a little outside on the edge of Kosciuszko County in an environment that is much needed. Something new that we have since the last time that we presented is our transportation services. We have a lot, so give me one second. So we have the Ride to Work program through in partnership with Second Chance. And then when Lyft comes back, we'll have that again. And then we do free rides available to our members at the Recovery Cafe for special events and to and from. And then our coaches will also take participants to and from court, probation meetings, visitation with their kids. We live in a rural community, so transportation is a huge barrier for us. We now have 3 vans which aid in those services. And then we also do harm reduction and community outreach. So what that looks like is we empower individuals to meet each other where they are. So we go to the homeless encampments, meet people who are unhoused. We go to high-risk areas. We hand out self-care bags and naloxone, and then we do street outreach. So last month we did 19 outreach events and handed out 160 naloxone to individuals in our community that may have not ever been able to have them services. We recently got 17 nalox boxes from Overdose Lifeline, and we are in the process of distributing those around our community. And then Light will manage those and make sure that those remain accessible to individuals in our community. And then to contact us, you would call either our office, visit our website, or my information will be in the chat for you if you have any questions.
All right. Thank you, Rochelle. Anybody have questions for Rochelle? Comments? Quiet group today.
I know.
That's okay. All right. Well, again, Rochelle's information is in the chat, so feel free to reach out to her or the Light team if you want to learn more about the programs that they have. And then, so we will now go ahead and open it up to everyone. I'll kick us off and just share. We do have information about the circle lighting event on September 5th that we do every year to kick off Recovery Month. And then our rally finale will be on the 27th. So I'm going to drop that. When you visit the IRN website, there's a couple different tabs about the events that you can look into if you want to be a vendor or sponsor or just attend. Either way, we'd love to see you there. Also, we are updating our events page on the IRN website. Thank you, Jen Van Yees, for that. It's certainly a lot of orgs are planning events for this month, next month. And so Jen works every week to see who's doing what so we can make sure it gets added. We do know a lot of folks check this website, the events page, to see what's happening around the state. Certainly for Recovery Month is a big one. So please check out the events page. If you have an event that's coming up and you don't see it on our page, please send that to myself and or Jen. Jen, I don't know if your contact info, there you go. Thank you. Great minds think alike. And we'll add that to the website there. So that's all I have. And so if anybody, again, wants to share information, we do have some time. So who you are, where you're located at, plug for your services programs, keep it to 1 minute if possible. And then also, if you haven't already, put your contact information in the chat so folks can follow up with you. So you can raise your virtual hand if you want to share. Don't be shy. This is all about networking and collaboration and building bridges around the state. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey guys, I'm Jacob McKinney. I'm with Oxford House, Indiana, and we have a new staff person starting with us. Her name's Summer Handy. She's on this call. We're going to put our contact info in the chat, but you can reach out to us if you're ever working with somebody that's in need of recovery housing. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jacob, for being here, and welcome to the Oxford House team, Summer. Sure, we'll be seeing you at events and future meetings. All right, anyone else want to plug your organization? Yeah, Zach, go ahead, please.
This I actually just learned about this meeting last night on Facebook, so I'm really happy to be here, and this seems amazing. I'm one of the deputy prosecutors in Marion County for our problem-solving courts. I do our women's drug court, our reentry court, and then we have a quality of life diversion program for homeless individuals that have low-level cases. Always happy to collaborate. We're trying to build more partnerships, and I know funding's been cut across the board for pretty much every program we connect with, or even ourselves. We had a bunch of money cut from our drug court programs, unfortunately, for basically across the state. So we're always trying to find more partnerships or ways we can improve. I'll put my contact information in the chat, but I have a counterpart, Liffey Batter-Rudin, that works with me and does the opposite end of things on the men's side. So we're always happy to present to any providers, anybody that needs more information. Thankfully, we're actually presenting this fall at NAMI, is allowing us to do a presentation on the quality of life program, since that's very unique for Indiana. So if you have any questions or anybody that you may think it'd be a good fit for our programs, feel free to reach out anytime.
Thank you, Zach. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you learned about our meeting. And then if you haven't already, I'm going to drop a link so you can join our mailing list. And so we send out quarterly newsletters as well as before each meeting, the agenda and like a reminder about the meeting. We try not to flood people, but just so you're in the loop on all the things to get you connected to different recovery focused orgs around the state. Okay, sorry. I think Jeremy and then the Mercy one, I think that might be Isha. I'm not sure. Okay, go ahead, Jeremy. And then Amber.
Well, I'm Jeremy Spencer with I'm a transitional healthcare manager for Indiana Forensic Services. I provide oversight for the IRACS programs across the state. One of the things that I do is help provide resources to all our different teams. So I would love to connect with all of you. Please reach out to me so that I can have that connection with you, so I can pass those connections along to our people. And my information is in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. So we'll do Mercy, Amber, then Mike.
Hi there. Yes, this is Isha. I did all that talking and forgot to actually talk about the events that we could partner on. um, on August 31st is Overdose Awareness, our Overdose Awareness Day. We are having a very, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's not a production. I really just want people to, we already have a flyer, we have a space. Just pull up with your tent. Let's have a good time. We have music. We're going to be doing some line dancing. But let's just have a moment of the community just came out. We have that on the 31st, and then we'll be doing it again on September 14th. These are our pop-up. It's going to be, I'll make sure that the flyer is put out again, but join us for our pop-up on August 31st or September 14th. Again, not a huge production. Just bring your tent, bring your good time, bring your services, and let's serve the community together. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please do send the flyers for those events so we can add them. Okay, Amber and then Mike.
Hey, I'm Amber Jett. I'm with Hope Academy. I'm the new director of outreach. Been here about 6 weeks now, so super excited to meet Rebecca when she starts here next week. Hope Academy, is a high school, the only sober high school in Indiana. So we are a free charter school. And currently, let's see, September 20th is our first middle school program for the year. We'll be having a monthly, but if you have families also that are raising middle schoolers that might be having some struggles with substance use, they can come for a family day. Other than that, we have open enrollment. So as school starts to go on and kids are around their peers and using picks up, we're here to help them when they're ready to make some changes. Actually, we're here to help them when the kids aren't ready to make changes. It's kids, but we'll be here for them.
Thanks, Amber. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us. Okay,
Thanks.
Mike and then Devin.
My name is Mike Shorter. I'm the coordinator for Clubhouse Indiana. Clubhouses are intentional communities for adults with severe mental illnesses, ages 18 years of age and up. We run kind of day programs for adults, but in and around that, we're helping folks go back to school, go back to work, find better housing, and recover from their illnesses. So there's 9 of us around the state that are accredited by Clubhouse International, and we're always looking to start up new ones. So if anybody's interested in taking on a project or knows anybody who might be interested in developing a clubhouse in your area, please let me know. You can Google Clubhouse Indiana for more information. My phone number and email address are all on there.
Thank you, Mike. Go ahead, Devin.
Hello, my name's Devin Rush. I'm the Special Population Manager for the IREX program. Supervise peers who actually work within facilities throughout the state of Indiana. Earlier, when the lady from Mercy was speaking and she spoke about the kids, that really grabbed my attention. But the main reason why it grabbed my attention is because here in Indiana, well, really probably like nationwide, a lot of children ends up going into foster care. And when they go into foster care, they don't have that support on the back end. They end up also going into the juvenile justice system. What happens is the warship shifts from the parent to the state. We're talking about Chin's cases, then it shifts to basically IDOC, and we're talking about kids going into boys' school and girls' school and different things like that. What happens is when they come back when they come back out of that situation, back into the community, they have no support system. Lots of times they don't really have contact with their old foster family. They don't have contact with their birth parents and the people from IDOC because of certain policies are not allowed to reach out to them. They have to wait for the children to reach out to them. So we have kids who don't really have a community that they're coming back into and they don't have a support system. So when she was speaking on training the children to actually have these skills that we have as peer recovery coaches, I just think that's an amazing ideal. And I just wanted to highlight it so that y'all could really see the thought behind the questions that I asked earlier and why I asked those questions. But I want everybody to be aware of that. And thanks for coming on, sharing that. But I'll go ahead and pass with that right there.
Thank you, Devin. All right. Anybody else want to share? Well, we have a few more minutes left. Okay, if not, if you would like to present during a future Indiana Recovery Network monthly meeting, please let us know. You can reach out to Jen or myself. Jen is going to take over the monthly meeting coordination as Rebecca is leaving us. So feel free to reach out to Jen, or you can always contact me directly. Our next meeting is scheduled for September 18th. So same time, 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time, same Zoom link. And hopefully we'll see you around at some upcoming events. Again, our circle lighting is happening September 5th down on Monument Circle. It's a very informal event. We kind of just hang out and watch the messaging across the IPL building. So hopefully we'll see you there. I think the lighting will start around 8:30-ish, and then it happens every hour around the same time until midnight. And then our recovery rally finale will be on the east side of Indianapolis on September 27th. So hopefully we'll see you all soon. Thanks, everybody.